In this video, I will introduce some tips to get started teaching and learning synchronously online using a combination of Zoom and PowerPoint. Zoom is a video conferencing tool with many built-in features that can simulate in-person experiences. The latest version of PowerPoint includes auto-captioning when in presentation mode. It's the most accurate auto-captioning I've seen yet, and it has the ability to make your online presentations much more accessible. The first thing you should do is plan your e-learning setup. What device or devices do you have available to engage in online learning? If you have multiple devices, like a tablet and a laptop, it's often nice to use one device for Zoom and another for online activities you may be asked to engage in while meeting. If you have just one device, you want to be familiar with any multitasking features that may be available on your device to help you navigate multiple screens. Many laptops have split screen views, extended desktops if you have a second monitor, or multiple desktops you can swipe through. It would be useful to do a quick online search and familiarize yourself with any of these features in advance so you feel comfortable during your first online session. To get started, the instructor and students should download the Zoom app or a Zoom desktop client in advance. While the instructor could just share a link without this step, the desktop client will need to download at that point anyway, so it's better to be proactive and check that everything is working before that first class. If you have multiple devices, you should download the Zoom app onto all of them to give you some flexibility. You can even have it on your phone as a backup plan. There are several options to create and join a Zoom class. The instructor can schedule a meeting in advance and post a link that you can click and open in the Zoom app. Alternatively, you could also type the meeting ID numbers found at the end of that hyperlink into the join box within the Zoom app. Another alternative is to make a group within Zoom called a channel. If all students sign into Zoom in advance using single sign-on, the instructor can search for them in their contacts to add them to the course channel. This allows the instructor to start a Zoom meeting for just those students in the class at any time. The students just need to be logged into Zoom, and the instructor can start class all at once. Before your first Zoom class, I recommend you familiarize yourself with some of the features it has. I will link to another video I made that showcases the tools for teaching, like hand raising, back channel chats, and breakout rooms. In that video, which is geared toward the student experience, I also share some logistical tips for interacting through the platform. On the Zoom website, there are also more detailed tutorials for each feature. Now that you're all set up with Zoom, you want to set up some e-learning norms for class. These norms may be individualized by instructor, but to get you started, I will describe some e-learning tips that will help your online learning experience go smoothly. 1. Find a quiet place to work, but also grab a pair of headphones in case it becomes difficult to hear. Most headphones that come with phones today have built-in microphones. Those should work just fine for e-learning. If you plan on presenting slides during your lesson, I highly recommend PowerPoint. If I'm in presentation mode on PowerPoint, there's a new feature that will auto-caption as you talk. Though not perfect, it is highly accurate, includes punctuation, and it will even self-correct as you correct while you're talking. Captioning like this can be a necessary accommodation for students with hearing impairments, or they can simply be a useful clarification for those who may be in a noisy environment or for those who prefer to see words in print. Tip 3. Have a backup plan. In an ideal situation, you have a solid, hardwired internet connection, but this is not always possible. If servers are too busy or the internet bandwidth isn't sufficient, you may get kicked out of an online learning experience. Instructors should send students directions in advance for what to do if this happens. You should try to reconnect if possible, but if for some reason you are not able to reconnect, you should know where the instructor will post some follow-up information after class. A fourth tip relates to recording the Zoom session. The instructor or meeting host has the ability to allow or not allow the recording of a Zoom session. Recordings of any kind require permission from everyone in the room, so you should refer to your chairs or university guidelines related to recording. My tip is if the recording is desired for students to have content access after the live presentation, Instructors could narrate presentations in PowerPoint before or after class. Pedagogically, if the plan for the Zoom meeting is to mostly present information without much interaction, then an asynchronous option using video in combination with video teaching tools like Edpuzzle and other online activities may be a better option than recording a Zoom session anyway. The last tip for this video is to consider accessibility of your online interactions in a similar way that you would think about them for an in-person class. PowerPoint's built-in captioning is a great start, but you should also consider the way you design your PowerPoints for those who may need access to the slides in advance using a screen reader. Instructors also want to consider the clarity of their verbal explanation when presenting for those who may only be able to interact via audio.